Am I audible?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's continue our kind of a journey from a stream cipher to the block ciphers in this unit. So what we have done in last unit is actually a stream cipher. A stream cipher, it means a kind of the beat by beat it is coming, and beat by beat or kind of character by character we are going to do the our kind of ciphers and the things is going on. So now as compared to in today's kind of era, the people are moving from the stream cipher to the block ciphers to see that at a time we may take multiple bits or multiple bytes, okay, whatever there is requirement according to the chunks, and then we can try to use it. So that's why it is going with the standard DES that is actually a widely used for many years. Nowadays it is obsolete, but when there was a time it is used for many years, and then it will be the latest is the advanced encryption standard. So that also we are going to look in this particular unit. Okay. So this is what kind of a discussions about the block and the stream cipher. So just look at this figure. This will be our stream cipher. So you can see that whatever the key is there, whatever kind of the key bits. So it's like when you are doing your programs, you are doing whatever the things on a kind of a character by character, you are doing on a bit by bit. Okay. So one by one character you are taking or taking certain things, and then you will take whatever the plain text that bits and do whatever the operations that you have to do it. Okay, and then you can get your ciphertext. So this will be your ciphertext, and again you will do the reverse of whatever the ciphertext with the key bits. Then you will try to apply the kind of a reverse logic compared to the encryptions, and you will get your answers. Okay, now as compared to we go with a kind of the block ciphers in this particular unit. So in the block cipher what we can take it is we can take a chunk of a bits at a time. Okay, it's like maybe 64 bit, 128 bit to 56 bits, whatever according to the ciphers. So we can go with that entire chunk of that particular bits. Then we will apply our kind of a things. So the one input is again plain text, the key, and the ciphertext. But here your plain text is divided in kind of the chunks of a particular blocks. So that's why you can see the name of this type of category of ciphers will be the block ciphers. That's what we are going to use it. Clear? So now it is based on this cipher structure, Feistel cipher structure, right? So it means that someone has kind of Feistel has come up with the persons in kind of the old era that come with that something we want a properties when we are dealing with this block of kind of a data, right? So it means if we can do something, confusions, some diffusion, some kind of, garbage or some kind of complexity in our way, so that for attacker it becomes the garbage that whatever we are doing, attacker can, if see as a garbage, attacker cannot retrieve it, right? So it means if let's say for example, if we can use a 64 bit, then it can be a 2 raised to 64 entries. The reason is that you can see if we have a 3 bit, right? So it means the possibility is 2 raised to 3. Okay, those 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, all the possibility we can go ahead. So similarly, if we have a 64 bit kind of a block, then kind of we have a 2 raised to 64 entries that we can try to mingle here and jumble here and there and try to make it more complex. Okay, so make sure in all the encryption techniques for a sender side we have to make it easy, but for an attacker side we have to make it very hard. That is the way it is going to be used. So this is one kind of a based on our techniques of microprocessors. I think maybe in your previous deck or other subject you have seen this thing. So we have a decoder that with 4-bit input, it will map either to the 16, this 0 to 15. So it means total 16 is there. And similarly, something is here map here. Okay, so this is kind of a hardwire here. That's also we have seen in a rotor. If you have remember in the last unit, rotor based thing what we have seen is, and when we have again output is here, again it will be an encoder. Using that we can get it. Okay, so it's like something in a higher version of this thing we are trying to use it so that our input will be converted in something output. Okay, so now one thing if you have observed the number of bits in an input and the number of bits in output both are same, right? So it means if my cipher block size is 64-bit input, then whatever the in things I'm going to do it means maybe I have to expand my input or keys or something, but at the end my output will be also a 64-bit output. Okay, so that's what we are going to see it. So this is what a kind of S and P blocks. So the full form of this S is substitutions and permutations. Okay, so it means they are telling that why don't we use this SP network? SP networks, it means that kind of a substitution and permutations. Okay, so it means we are using substitutions so that we will substitute some kind of characters with other characters or bits with other things, and we will use the permutations. So whatever the block is there, then we can try to rearrange those bits. Okay, and this kind of SP network, it means by combining both of these things. Okay, not only substitute, not only permutations, let's combine both of this, and then it will lead it to the confusion and diffusion of the message. Now the question is, what do you mean by confusion and the diffusions, right? So let's say the first word is diffusions. Okay, now diffusion, it means that whatever you have a plain text and ciphertext, because one thing we always assume that we have an attacker, right? That is always be available. Okay, so whatever we have to do, we have to make sure that even the attacker is having a bulk of ciphertext. How can you assume that attacker is having a bulk of ciphertext? Because all the ciphertext is transferred through the open network. Okay, because we cannot go with the secure channel everywhere. So that's why the ciphertext is, let's say the attacker has do the tapping on our out net. Okay, network on that. From that they are getting a bulk of ciphertext. So from that there is a kind of some attacker cannot get what is the kind of a plain text, right? If even though the attacker have a bulk of a ciphertext, so there is a something a structure based difference between the plain text and the kind of a ciphertext. Now second thing is a key. Okay, so like attacker cannot guess the plain text, similarly we want that attacker cannot guess the key. Okay, so it means something we have to make it strong that just from the ciphertext no one can get the key. Now best example of a confusion I can give you the Caesar cipher, right? So it's like if I give you the ciphertext, even from the diffusion confusion both you will kind of get it, that once you can get the key, and also from the key you will get your plain text. Okay, so that's why this type of property we have to make sure that from the ciphertext, because attacker is having a ciphertext, and then we can go ahead with different assumption that in some cases attacker is having a plain text and ciphertext. Does the attacker can get the kind of a key or not? So that everything we have to make sure that this diffusion and confusion properties will be maintained. Okay, so that's why we have to make our structure somewhat complex in this Feistel structure. So this person's Horst Feistel that started this structure. So that's why you can see the name is the Feistel cipher structure, and then it will be passed to a certain rounds of evolution, so and so on, and then it is come in the existence to be used. And today's ciphers like the DES and AES that I have talked about, they are actually inbuilt using this kind of a structure with their whatever the modification that is there. So what is the requirement is there? You can see first is whatever your input block, like that's you will divide in particular two halves. So for example, if my input block is of 64-bit, then I will divide in two parts, 32-bit left part, 32-bit right part. Okay, now we have a multiple rounds is here. Okay, so it means generally let's say in Caesar cipher, though we have only one round like we are doing here, it is not. Here it is a multiple round, and I think we can go with, I think 15 or 16 rounds are there. So in each round the things will be there. So in each round we have a two blocks, left block, right block, both are of a 32-bit. Okay, now what we can do, try to perform is substitution method on a left data. Okay, so whatever those are left data, they are coming as a only substitute, they are going to do a substitution. While for the kind of a right data, right and half, those who are a right and half of the particular 64-bit, that is actually a 32-bit, in which we are trying to apply our key. Now question is, because there are multiple rounds, right? So for example, if there are 10 rounds and each of the half is 32-bit, so total 320-bit. So do we assume our key is supposed to be 320-bit? No. So that's why our key will be also kind of a divided in a sub keys, multiple keys, so that for each round you have a key is there, right? So that is the way the things will be there. And similarly, we are going to do also the permutations of those half. So once we do this thing, Now whatever the half, those who are left, they will become the right. Right is again going to be executed. So now again you will get the left and right. Again they are going to be get answers, so and so on. So we will see how it is going to be do it. So let's go with this thing. So consider this is our plain text. Okay. Now as I told, plain text divide in two parts, left and right. Okay. So for example, if I have a 64-bit, it is divided in 32-bit left part, 32-bit in right part. Okay, that is the way. So they have used the conventions here is LE0 and RE0. Okay, so LE0 means left part with round 0, right part with round 0 in encryption process. That is the way. Now look at this particular structures. Okay, so here you can see that this left part, they are doing some kind of operations here, and then it will give me the right part. But for the next round, the left part is straight away come from the right part, right? So that is what you can say our Fisher structure requirement, that out of two part, one part will be easily straight away become the other part of the next round. So the right part of the previous round become the left part of the next round, while the left part of the previous round, we have to apply our kind of functions, logic, and whatever the things that we want to do is the substitute and permutations, and then with our key. So this k1 is there, so this is k1. Okay, our entire key is k, so k will be expanded to k1, k2, so and so on. So for example, if there are 16 rounds, we have total 16 sub keys, so this is we call the sub keys. Okay, that is the way it is going to be used. So that's why this key will be round to round that is going to be used, and with we can apply our this fiscal functions, that is f, and through that we will get our right part. Okay, so every time for a next round there is not a problem of a left part, but there is a problem of a right part, because we are applying our keys. That is the way it is going to be there. So you can see that how the next round is there. So this, if you can see, this right part will become here. Again, this right part will be the left part of the next round. Now this will be our second key. This will be again our functions. Okay, and that we are going to use it. We will get our right part. So that's why we are going to use it. Now this is, as of now, there are two rounds. Okay, you can see similarly we have a 16 round. Okay, so that's why after do all the careful discussions, their analysis at that time, they have designed this entire mechanism, the cipher structures. One thing, if you have observed at last, after 16th round, they are trying to do the only swapping. So that is what the last part, the only swapping, because here they are not applying the key 17. Okay, just a swapping, and now you are getting your ciphertext. Okay, so previously in our stream ciphers we have only one round, you can say. Now in a block ciphers, because we have a block of a text, and that we are going to apply in this thing. Okay, so this is what our kind of, you can say, the Fistel cipher structure, and that structure with some modifications, they are going to be the backbone of the DES and the AES. That is what we are going to means. As of now, even today's people are using the AES. So you can see that what the cipher we are going to study, even though it was invented a years back, still people are using, they are using in the same algorithm. Okay, they are not trying to change the steps, because in a security we assume that our algorithm is known to others, but the only thing is the key. So key is not known to the others. So that's why using the key, you have to find a text that if somehow you can get in the key. So this is what our Fistel structure. Okay, so you can see in terms of our decryptions, because this is what the encryption step. So now you can see the decryption steps. So whatever we have done here in last, okay, here that is going to be done in that way. So here it is come as a ciphertext. Again, now here you can see the right part become the left part. So that's why in the reverse, here right part become this in a left part in same. Okay, and here the left part going in this way. Similarly, but here one thing is that you have to apply the keys in the reverse order, right? That is the way. Yeah, so just my question, where is this steps? Is this here? I'm confused. Where is the last steps? Okay, let me try to remove the links. I'm asking that where is the steps perform in here. In encryption, it is a last step. It's supposed to be the first steps in decryptions, nah? But I'm also seeing something here.
Sir, but in encryption we are making right part to the left part, and in decryption we are making left part to the right part. So we have to swap that in the last.
Good. So one thing that you have seen that here right part is going to left part, right? But if you can see here, we are actually starting with the left part here. So left part we are putting in the right part, RD0 equal to LE16. Okay. And that's why here is the right part. So actually here we are giving a kind of a left part to right part. Okay. So that is what the swapping that they are, making the things more complex. Okay. For attacker side. So that's why they are starting with the right part and left part in a kind of a confusion way. So that at the last, again, once they will complete all the rounds. And one thing if you have observed, we are applying the keys from K1, K2 to K16. But in a decryptions, we are applying in a reverse order. First, we apply the K16, K15. So you are going in a reverse way from straight away here. So that is what the always be a maintain, that decryption is always be a reverse of encryption. So whatever you are doing in encryptions. So just let me take one example of you can say the kind of onion. So there is a layers. So one by layer that are giving you the answer. So if you're going in a decryptions, you are have to go in the reverse order. The same thing in a network things, the TCP/IP or OSI models. So there are 7 layers or 5 layers. Every layer will give the data in the message. But on the reverse side, again they are going in that way. Okay, they are going to be going in a reverse way. So same thing will be here in the Histel ciphers. Okay. So this is just an example of encryption and decryptions. For example, okay, so as I told, it is a 32 bit. So each of the bit here is kind of, you can say the 8 bit. So okay, so there are 4 characters. So this is my, you can say the left part, and this is my right part. Okay, so right part will be as it is, while the left part that is while this right part becomes the left part here. Okay, and while this right part and the left part, they will try to mingle something here with this. This is my K1 key. Okay, that is the way, or any other keys that you can try to assume. So according to I think round 15, whatever the K15 is there, right? So in round 15 we require K15 keys. So we will apply some functions of these two things, that is this, and then we will do the XOR with whatever our left part. And this you can see that this actually becomes here and this here. So this part will be here and this part will be here. So that's why they are going to do it. So that's why this is actually, you can see the right and left here. So this is my this is actually become left and right here. Okay, so that's why that was the last steps here in ciphertext. You can see that even after applying the 16 round, we have to swap the left and right part. Okay, so that's why every time we are getting the left hand part in a reverse way, and that's why we are going to do it. Okay, so now here it will be K15 in round 15, while in a decryptions it become round 2. Okay, and we are applying the K15 also here. That's why it is going to be works. So that's why this is what encryptions and decryptions, the way they are going to work. So this is an example at in between. So now the question is how this F functions will be going to be executed. So let's see in a DES and AES, in DES, how they are going to try to do this thing. Okay. So there are certain things that's supposed to be designed. What is the block size? Means 64 bit, 128 bit, 256 bit, 512 bit, so and so on. The more block size you will take, it will give you the more security, because you have a multiple kind of combinations. So it's like 64 bit, 2 raised to 64 possible things, 128, 2 raised to 128. That's why it is there. But if you are increasing the block size, your key size supposed to be in that matching, and then you have to do a multiple that operations. Okay, in that particular round. So there is an overhead on those particular rounds. That's what it is going to be do. So block size here, key size, whatever the kind of number of rounds that we are going to use it, generally a 16 will be there. Then the key will be divided in multiple kind of sub keys. That's where they are going to do it. whatever the round functions that what we are going to use it, and will it be a encryption decryption fast or not. Okay, the one thing if you notice that these things we can apply in parallel, right? So if I have a 1 MB of size file, I can divide in 64-bit chunks. Then all the chunks I can start parallel. I can get my ciphertext. That's where the things will be there. Okay, so that is what the one thing is that going to be used. So now we are going to use this DES. That is going to be, started way before 1970 something, and then after doing certain iterations of reviews and so on, they are going to be accepted in 1977. So previously it was national kind of a board on the standards. Now it is a NIST. Okay, so right now the people are using these NIST standards. Okay, so whenever in future also when you people are going to use those inbuilt functions, right? Even the AES, that's what you people are going to use it. That's everything. You have to always NIST standards. Like in our products, we have ISO standard available. So in this security, the people are trying to use this NIST standard, so that they are claiming that this particular bit, this particular algorithm, that as of now you have to use it. So if you are using, for example, a Caesar cipher today, then you are vulnerable, right? So that's why you have to use whatever the suggested standard from NIST. That's why they are going to use it. Now DES will require 64-bit of data. So our block size in DES is 64-bit of data. Okay, and the key that what we are going to use it, that is a 56-bit. Okay, and then it is going to be expanded over the different keys. That's why they are going to use it. Okay, so this is kind of a history between the DES. Then it is kind of developed by some persons, kind of scientist in IBM. Okay, so maybe I will be happy to see that if in future, some of you, those who are joining the companies like IBM, and they will try to design certain new ciphers, and I will be taught after, I can say, I think as of now you are in third year, right? So after 1 year you will be, or 2 years you will be going to be pass out. So you will be joined, and after some 3-4 years I can try to give you, so that you will join as a team member, and after some years you will become the team leader. Then you will try to develop something. So I think after 4 or 5 years I will be happy to talk to your juniors. Okay, grand juniors, that okay, this was developed by this particular persons in IBM, so and so on, provided that work is published. Okay, so that's where it will be going to be used. Clear? And yes, so this is kind of even the controversy, the people are trying to use it at that time, multiple cipher, because you know that at a one time multiple ciphers people are trying to design, they are trying to take it, so and so on. Okay, so there are, one thing is this DES, another thing is kind of whatever the other Lucifer that they have designed with 128-bit. Okay, so what the things they are going to use it, so of course there is always be a controversy, that because make sure that these are the standard used in worldwide. Okay, so that's the way they have to be kind of going to be in a public, and then they have to design, then they have to analyze, we have to make sure the attackers cannot use it. The moment it is going to be know that okay, this is going to be attack, or then they have to revise the ciphers, they have to increase the security, so and so on, so that that's why you can see that in our apps, if you have seen in our softwares, also in the browsers, what we know in our kind of mobiles, or even in our desktop laptop, it is coming that every time why it is asking for to update, because it may happen that they have kind of analyzed there are certain issues, not only security, other kind of a design, other things of in terms of efficiency, they have find it out. So every time they have to improvise. So once they will again improvise, they have to ask you to re-update your kind of a softwares, and once your software updates, again you are getting those security. So that's where whenever there is a things will be there, then have to again kind of design the things. So this will be the entire structure of, you can say, the DES. Okay, this is of kind of, you can say, the our plain ciphertext and the key. So if you can see here, out of this 64 plain text, we have first go with some permutations, that is we call the initial permutations. And now one thing that you have noticed here, so let me try to write down here. This is the symbol. What does this mean?
Bus.
Yes.
The
Okay.
data bus.
Yes, so means a kind of a size data bus. Good. So in our processor system, we are using this address lines, data lines in that way. So here they are saying indirectly that this is the size when you are doing some performance. What is the output here? That is the way. So that's why you can see that actually we are starting a key with 64 bit. But after doing certain permutations, okay, we are only taking a 56 bit, right? So in a starting, your key and plain text both are 64 bit, right? But your key will be with some of our, kind of this mingle with our structures. That's the 56 bit will be there. So 8 bit will be discarded in that way. And from this 56 bits, we will do a certain shifting every time. So we will do the shifting. We will take the another permutations. So out of 56, we are taking a 48 bit. So 48 bit, we are also going with here and it is going to be with here. So I am confused. Here it is 48 bit, here it is 64 bit. So are we going to apply with 64 and 48 bits what? What is our Fister structure says? It is says that your kind of a data is divided in two part, left part and right part, right? So if we have a here 64 bit, in a round it is divided in 32 bit chunk. So this 32 bit chunk will be trying to apply with this 48 bit key, and then it is going to be XOR with this particular whatever Fister structure says, right? So actually 32 bit and 64 we are trying to do a certain mingle here with our functions, and then we are going to use it. Okay, so every time with a shifting we are getting our new keys, so and so on. Okay, so that's why till our round 16 we have to do the circular shift. Yeah, use that word because now you are going to get it. We have a circular shift. So in our data structure we are using a circular queue. So it is going in a circular queue in a left side. Okay, so that's why they are going to get it circular, and then from that we are getting what our permutation box is there. So this is a first permutation box, this is a second permutation box. Okay, this is also some permutations. Here we are using something here in between. At last also we are using the swappings, and at finally we are getting whatever the permutation initial here, we will take the inverse permutations. So now in this entire diagram we have a multiple boxes. So right now you can see the box. For example, initial permutation is a box. Now our task that we want to see inside those box, how the way that they are trying to use the permutations, right? So now our task is to go inside each of those box. Like initial permutations, what will be happen there? In a round, what will be happen there? In a permutation choice 1, what will be happen there? In permutation choice 2, what will be happen there? So and so on. In an inverse initial permutation, what will be there? So that's everything now we want to know. So that once we have all this box, will we know? Right now what we know, how many bits as an input, how many bits as an output. But within the box, we are not sure. So now we are going to explore those things. Okay. So we are starting with the first one. Here you can see this is the first one when we are giving a plain text initial permutations. Okay. Without initial permutation, it is not going to start the round. And without round, the key is not there required, right? So before starting the round, we have to do the permutations. Okay. Of course, we are doing the inverse also. Okay. So this is my, let's say for example, IP is the initial permutations. Now this is first, this is second kind of a data, and then we are getting our answers in answer at last. So again our permutations. So we will see the example. How many bits we have actually? A size of a block. Can you tell me what is the size of a block of input plain text? Yeah, Shrey, can you tell me what is the size of an input plain text box? Look at here. What is the size of an input block? Okay, correct. It's a 64 bit, right? So now that's why you can see here from if you can see we have a 1 to 64 bit is there, right? That's you can see. Okay, so now just let me try to ask you in different way. Can anyone try to explain me these two blocks? Okay, yeah. Consider like a puzzle. So let me go previously. This is actually what you are seeing here. This is the bits arrangement, right? So we have a 64 bits. That's so here it is a bit number. You can see it is starting from 1. It is going at the 64, right? So here you can see this is okay. For example, 1. This is okay. Somehow 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, then from 9 to 16. So kind of 8 bits block is there. Okay, and ultimately we are getting the 64 bit here. So this is what a bit arrangement. Okay, so now just I want consider like a puzzle. Is this two block related to each other? This is the convention we are giving. M1 means the first bit, 2, 3, 4, so and so on. So you can see that whatever my message, this is actually my message. Oh, sorry. This is my message, all the 64 bits. Then I will try to arrange in this order. You can see, go ahead back. Okay, so this is my 58. So you can see 58. So now this is 58 bit. This is my original plain text. Okay, plain text block of 64 bit. Whatever my message 64 bit, I will try to write. Then these bits come here. I will rearrange as a permutations. Okay, initial permutations I am going to rearrange. That is the way. So this is 50. Okay, so whatever the 50 number is there, this is 50. That is come here. That's where. So and so on. So whatever my message, that is coming here. So this is my initial permutations. Okay. Okay, just a wild guess. If I have to prepare the inverse of these initial permutations, what will be the order? Which one is the first bit? From this, if I have to do the inverse initial permutations, what will be my first? Here it is M58. You do the reverse of this thing. So how do you can do the reverse?
Sir, M2.
One is M2. Okay, so just my question is, once I have this block, okay, this particular block, can you tell what is the positions of a first bit in this block? Consider it is an error, 8 cross 8 error, right? Okay. Can you see the slide? If this is my 8 cross 8 array, right? Consider this is 8 cross 8 array. Index will start from index 1. Okay. This is also my 8 cross 8 array. That's you can see total 64. So this array I have converted in this thing. Now if I have to convert back in whatever the original positions, then I cannot take the first bit because it is a 58 is there. So what is the index of a first bit? This is the M1. If this is my 8 cross 8 array, what is the index of M1?
5th row and 8th column.
Yes. So what will be the, I think 8 into 5. So 40. Okay. So it means 8 into 5, that is 40. So M1 will be actually going to be in a, if I go in the inverse permutations, this is a 40 will be there. Good. What about M2?
M8.
Very good. 8. M3?
48.
Very good. Good. You can see it is 40, it is 8, it is 48. Okay, so this is what inverse of those permutations, right? So now again, whatever your bits that you have tried to do the initial permutations, this is what the reverse of our IP. So this will be again 8 cross 8. Okay. Oh, sorry. This will be again our 8 cross 8 matrix. Clear? But this is the inverse of our IP. So that's why the name is inverse initial permutations. So I think now you people know that whatever your plain text blocks of 8 cross 8, how you convert in initial permutations. And if I give you the 8 cross 8 of initial permutations, how you can give me the inverse initial permutations. So if I go back to our diagram, okay, let me try to remove this thing. So it means right now we have get the answer for this and this. It is easy, na? You can see it's a easy permutation and inverse permutations, yet we haven't started the round, we haven't started the keys expansions. You can see how they are trying to change the things, make it more and more try to complex. That's why they are going to use it. Okay, so this is the way they are going to use it. Yeah, so this is what our inverse initial permutations. So now you can try to see that this is 58. Sorry, this is 58. This will be M1. So M1 will become here. Okay, that's where the M2 is there. That's where you can try to see. Okay, so this is the way they are going to use it. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So now let me try to use this thing. They will be try to use in our future, whatever the expansion of the permutations. That's what we are going to use. Yes. So this is actually my 32 bit, right? And using the bit multiple times, I have converted in 64 bit. Okay. So this 32 bit will be kind of converted in 64 bit. That is correct. It is total 64 bit now, if you can see. Is this 64 bit? Rows into column. Simple. How many rows and column in this expansion permutations?
It is 48 bit.
Wow, good. 48 bit. So they are converting from 32 bit to 48 bit. Now my question is why we require this expansion. Let me go to our diagram. Can you even tell me why we require this thing? Means where we require this thing. Let me ask you in where we have to convert from 32 to 48. In which box? Nowhere it is written expansion, right? So that's why I'm asking you. If it is written, you can straight away tell, sir, it is there. That's why we use it. Now I want you to make a wild guess that where we want the magic from 32 to 48 bits.
From round 1 to round 16 boxes.
Well, it's a correct answer. In a round 1, if you can see, it is actually a 32-bit 2 blocks. But this blocks we have to mingle with this 48. So that's why this 32 will be going to the 48 and then it is going to do this thing. So that's where they're going to try to use 32 to 48. Yeah, very good. And similarly, this is what a permutations of this 32 bit. Okay, so that's also we require in the round function. So this thing we require round functions that we have to do here and there changes. Okay, so this is our round functions. So first thing is there, we divide in two parts, 32 bit left and right. Whatever the right part of the previous round, it becomes the left part of the next round. While for the right part of the next round, left part with XOR with these things. Okay, so that's first we have to expand to the right part to the 48 bit, because right part is of 32 bit. So that's we have to expand using this thing. Now we have to do certain XORs, and then we are using the substitution box, and then also we are going to use the permutation box. Okay, so this is our permutation box. This is one box, but we require 8 substitution box also. That's why this is going to be make it more and more kind of, you know, complex. That is the way. So you can see this is what our entire block of this round. So this is my left part, this is my right part. Right part first go with the expansion. So this is my 32 bit, it is convert in 48 bit. It is going to be XOR with this key. So this is key. Now we have to use this substitution box. There are actually 8 substitution box. Okay, and from 48 bit we are converting in 32 bit. Then we will use the permutation box. That's what we have seen, permutations, and then it will give me a 32 bit whatever. And finally we are doing the XOR with the left part, and then we are getting the right part. It's a simple. Huh? Again, what is the inside of all these things? That's we will see in the next lecture, because all of this thing is a box, right? But yeah, just don't worry, this practical is not there in your lab part syllabus. Okay. Otherwise, again, I hope that some of you will confuse, sir, how we are going to, you know, make these algorithms in our practicals. That is the way it will be there. Okay. And similarly, this is for the keys. Okay, whatever your keys of 56 bit is divided in 2 parts. So that is going to be left shifts again and again, and it is going with permutation choice 2. Okay, so this is also a box of permutation choice 2. The reason is that why we require this box of permutations, initial, inverse, because on the receiver side also they have this type of fixed thing is there. The way you are doing a permutation here, the reverse way to do the permutations in your kind of the decryption part. Okay, and that every time we have a kind of you know, 56 bit, again it is convert in the next round. It is going to be do it, and from this it is going to be use the 48 bit. It is going to be, this is 32 bit, this is 32 bit. So this is just a single round of DES algorithm. Like this, we have a 16 rounds. OK, and then the things will be again going in inverse, and then you will get your answers. That's what will be there. So considering your time, I think we have a 9:45. Yeah, so let me try to stop here. OK, discard.